Hey folks, welcome to Just a Guy DIY, and this week we're going to look at sharpening our kitchen knives. Let's get started. So let's take a moment to talk about knives and sharpening and knife safety. You don't have to be a nut like me and have a couple of pocket knives or maybe even like a belt full of them to be concerned about your knife sharpening and safety skills. That's why I wanted to focus on kitchen knives, because that's what most people will be using from day to day, or at least one point in their life. So let's start by asking why. Why is it important to keep your knives sharp? Well, simply, it's better to use your knife if it's sharp. You can cut through things more easily. That simple. Also, it's a safety concern. If your knife is sharper and you're cutting through what you want to cut more easily, you're not gonna slip and cut yourself with the knife. Plain and simple, just like that. And one last thing before we jump in the description, I'm gonna drop a whole bunch of stuff about knife safety and a whole series of YouTube videos about this guy's journey, about his kitchen knives and sharpening them. It's really cool. You folks should check it out below. So as far as materials, this is what we're going to need. A knife, pocket, kitchen, whatever you want to sharpen. These ones happen to come with a cool case that have like a little special honer on the bottom to keep the knife a little extra sharp between uses. Cool. And then you're gonna need a sharpener or a whetstone. This is a nice, cool, travel-sized one. It's great for pocket knives. Not gonna be really helpful in this situation. You may come across something more like this, a whetstone. They're great to use. This one's just broken, so I'm not gonna use it this time around. This is what I'm gonna be using. Pretty much the same thing. It just comes in a cool case. This lid becomes a stand. Great to use. It's gonna work great. Then you're gonna need some kind of sharpening, honing oil. You could just use water. It's a whetstone. I like using oil. This one is kitchen safe. If you are gonna use oil, make sure it is kitchen safe so you're not getting yourself sick or anything like that. And as almost always, some kind of rag just to keep your hands clean. Let's get to it. Alright folks, as we get started, you can see I got my favorite dinosaur towel laid out to keep my desk nice and clean. Gonna take some of the oil, get it on the stone. Not gonna be shy with it. I will most definitely be adding more to this later. It just happens. Gonna take my knife. Gonna place it on the stone at a 45-degree angle, approximately. There are different techniques that use different angles. Those are mostly for different style knives, but for our sake, 45 degrees, just perfect. So gently place, don't want to push too hard. Just run the blade across the stone. Make sure you're going the whole length of the blade. Nice and steady. And now, one thing that's important is you want to be even. So I just did 5 passes going this way. So now I'm going to flip the knife, do 5 passes going this way. Once again, making sure I'm getting the entire length of the blade. Okay. Now, you want to make sure you are sharpening the knife and not just getting the edge dull. You very carefully, how I check, so I take my thumb and I run it across the blade this way, not up and down. I don't want to cut myself. If we do that, you can kind of feel it. Where it's dull, it's gonna feel smoother, and when it's sharper, like at the tip here for me, you feel it dragging on your thumbprint a little. Now, one thing you don't want to do is wipe this off or wipe this off. As you sharpen your blade, there's going to be some small parts of the blade that gets broken off, and it's going to mix in with the oil, and it's actually going to help sharpen your blade even better. So don't wipe this off until you're completely done. Now I'm going to get back to sharpening this knife, and then I'll show you how I can really test it at the end. Alright, so dry the blade off here so we can test whether or not it is sharp. Now I just have some scrap paper, try to recycle. There's an extra sheet of paper that printed off something, and this is called the paper test. You take the blade, you run through. Now, what I'm feeling for is resistance. I had a bit of resistance there. I mean, I was still able to get a pretty clean cut. You see how that right there, it tore the paper and it didn't cut. I think I'm gonna need to go back in and do a little more work on this knife. Let's get back to it. Alright, folks, I want to show you what I'm looking for here. So watch. Well, it was effortlessly cutting through. There it is. Nice and smooth. You can hopefully see just how smooth this cuts. That's what you're looking for. So I'm going to put this away. I'm going to start on our next knife. So let's talk about a piece of equipment that I'm not using today, but you still might see in a kitchen, and that is one of these, a knife honer, a blade honer. You'll see it in a lot of kitchens. It comes in a knife block set. All it does is, if you watch on TV, you'll see the chefs go back and forth super quick. What's important to remember about these is that they're not to sharpen your knife, it's to hone the knife, as the name implies. What that means is as you use your blade, sometimes you get little, almost microscopic like nicks or bends or curves in the blade. This just helps straighten it out between uses. It doesn't sharpen, it just helps it stay a little extra sharp while you use it. I'm not going to be using it today, but it's something to keep in mind when you're looking at knives and stuff. So here is the last blade, and it happens to be the largest blade I'm working with, so you might be able to tell I'm working on it in sections. I'm starting with the part of the blade closest to the handle and then working my way to the tip. And you might also notice that I'm using two hands, and that's just because I don't want the blade to bend or be a little wobbly, because it's a little too large for the whetstone I have. Alright folks, there you have it, how to sharpen your knives to keep them safe and ready to use for the future. Now if you do go ahead and try this, please be careful. A dull knife is still a dangerous knife, so just take your time and exercise some caution. Just take it slow and you'll get there, and you'll find that even as you sharpen your knives, it could even get a little more dangerous. You know, you can still nick yourself, so just be careful. And please check out some of the information in the description. There'll be some more information on some knife safety and some more specifics on sharpening kitchen knives. It's some good stuff. So if you want some more information, just check out the links down there. Now, as far as these knives, I'm so happy that I was able to get to these. My family had them for probably about a decade, and we haven't sharpened them before. We have a honing rod and these special holders for them. Probably should have gotten to it sooner, but now that I did, I'm glad, and I actually can't wait to get back in the kitchen and see how much better they are. Now, as always, please comment below. Let me know what you think, and if you gave it a go, let me know. Did you find the knives worked better or not? Now, you can get them professionally sharpened, but this is a fraction of the cost. I hope you all enjoyed it, and until next time, thanks for watching.